So how come Christians pick and choose what laws in the Bible they want to follow?
What do you mean?
Well, they take some Old Testament laws like homosexuality and say it's condemned, yet verses from the same chapter they'll ignore, like eating pork, shrimp, not mixing certain fabrics.
Right, so you're asking why aren't Christians following the entire Jewish law if they're willing to cherry pick certain verses?
Exactly.
Well, here's what's going on. Every Old Testament law was written for ancient Israel. None of them were for us, including the Ten Commandments.
Okay.
Hebrews 8:13 says that the new covenant with Christ made the old covenant obsolete, meaning it's out of date. It wasn't abolished, but fulfilled through Christ. That said, there are commands from the Old Testament that are repeated in the New Testament, and because they're repeated, they do apply to us Christians. In fact, 9 of the 10 commandments are repeated in the New Testament, which is why they still apply.
So what was the point of the Old Covenant if Jesus was going to come and make a new one?
Well, the covenant was about God's promises to his people. Because of the fall, we were bound to our sin. So the law was essentially the babysitter that guarded God's people until Christ came.
Okay.
These people were in a barbaric state when God approached them. That's all they knew. And he couldn't just tell them he was going to move them from here to here. So over time, especially with things like blood sacrifices of lambs, God was showing his people that sin was so serious that it required death to atone for it.
And that set the stage for Jesus.
Exactly. The entire Old Testament is training up God's people and setting the stage for Jesus, who is the spotless lamb that would remove all of sin once and for all.